Yes, just to move it along, we have amazing guest today, and once again, yeah, Tim Draper. So now it's time to introduce him. So our next guest, Tim Draper, he is a global visionary for investors and market disruptors, a real-life Superman with outstanding intuition, a multi-generational venture capitalist, investor in Twitch, Tesla, Twitter, all three T's, SpaceX, Skype, big lover of Marvel stories, and a proponent of Bitcoin and decentralization. Tim is the founder of Draper University of Heroes, the leading 5-week program for entrepreneurs. He's also been awarded Forbes 100 Most Powerful People in Finance, Harvard's Top 100 Most Influential Alumni, and Always On's #1 network venture capitalist. Please give a big round of a digital applause for Mr. Tim Draper.
God, it makes me want to dance.
Right? You just want to get the hands up.
That's great fun.
Yeah, those spirit fingers.
Probably the best introduction I've ever had. So thank you very much for that, Alan.
No problem. Tim, thank you so much for having this chat with me and sitting down. It is my pleasure connecting with you today. There is so much to discuss, but before we dive in, I wanted to ask you something about Hero City. Now, for those who don't know, Hero City is the name of Tim's headquarters in San Mateo, California. So please tell us about that.
So Hero City is an incubator, and what's unique about it is really the facility, because we have a giant mural on the wall that it has Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Robin, Batman and Robin, and Robin says, "Holy opportunity, Batman," and Wonder Woman says, "Release the heroes." You know, Wonder Woman with the lasso, and it gives people this spirit of entrepreneurship. And actually, I'm working on doing villains on the other wall, because villains are actually pretty inventive.
Yeah,
they come up with really interesting devices. And then if you walk in the office, you see first our desk law, which is our Bitcoin, our desk that Elon gave me. He gave me the car, and I turned it into a desk. And it's the reception desk for Hero City, and the whole idea. And then we have a big table that's made out of a 747 jet engine. The place is really very interesting, and we encourage entrepreneurs to come and collaborate with each other. And then right across the street, we have Draper University of Heroes, and that encourages heroism. And then hopefully they'll then come to Hero City, build their business, and then a lot of us will hopefully fund it. So that's kind of we kind of have a cradle to maturity system where we take a would-be, somebody with passion, we bring them through Draper University, they get hero training, which includes like survival training with Navy SEALs and emotional training with a Tony Robbins-like spiritual leader, and then they go and they start their business, and they pitch it at the end of the thing. Then they might move to Draper, to Hero City, and become an entrepreneur. And then they might get funded by Draper Associates. And we also have a show called Meet the Drapers that they could potentially be on. And it's crowd-funded. Yeah. So we've got 9 million viewers now of Meet the Drapers.
Ooh.
And they crowdfund these companies. So the companies that get on the program often get funded. I mean, we don't have to do it. They can be done. It can be done by the crowd. So, I love entrepreneurs. I love what they do for the world. I love how they innovate in times of need, like now.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do. I support entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship wherever they might be around the world. We also have a network of venture capitalists around the world, the Draper Venture Network of 24 relationships that cover about 48 cities. And that's been great for all of us to sort of understand what's going on out there.
Yeah, that's kind of cool that you have like the pictures of those heroes up there, because like heroes and superheroes are the original entrepreneurs, self-funded, self-backing, make the world and change it the way they have. Can I ask you a question about, can you share like one positive change that 2020 has brought to you, personal, professional?
Yeah, well, personally, it gave me a little bit of a break. I had just traveled all the way around the world. I had been very active. I was kind of exhausted. And I got back from India and Singapore I'd been around the world literally, and I'd gotten back and I was really exhausted. And then, it was the day that they had the first lockdown, and I said, okay, fine, lock me up, lock me down, whatever. I'm happy to be home for a bit. The thing that I've done is, so I'm wearing a tie suit. I do this, today I'm actually in the office, but when I'm at home, I close the door to I kiss my wife goodbye. I get all dressed up. I kiss my wife goodbye. I go into my home office. I do my work all the way through on Zoom. And then at the end of the day, I go, okay, honey, I'm home. So I create that same separation I had during the work world. So that's been kind of the good thing that's happened. I think
I heard about that.
I think I've gotten to know my dog better.
Yeah. You're just like, I see you every day now. I know your schedule.
What I don't like is the family is sort of living in pods, and so I don't get to see my kids as much as I would like to, and they're full-grown kids.
Yeah.
And my grandkids, I have grandkids, and then I do go over and drop in on my dad maybe more often than I would have. So that's a positive. Okay, so professionally, here's what's happened. Professionally, people have been stuck at home and they've been going, oh, well, let's see what this VR thing is like. And so then they try VR. Hey, maybe I should do a Bitcoin wallet. And then they do Bitcoin wallet. And then they go, hey, maybe we'll do remote medicine, or I'll get my groceries delivered or whatever. So all these companies that we've been backing over these years are all thriving. So, Coinbase is exploding. Ledger is exploding because of Bitcoin wallets. Things are going incredibly well.
Yeah. Well, that leads into my other question. Just like, how many investments have you made this year? Like, which sectors are you most focused on?
Well, that I have pretty much. I have not changed my investment pattern. Mm-hmm. So and by the way, I got to be the first person ever to do a video Skype call. Mm-hmm. So I've been using video for a lot longer than most people have, and so I've had a chance to get very comfortable with it, and so I have not changed my investment pattern. I have continued to invest. I was investing when everybody was panicking in March and April. I was investing all through the summer, and I'm investing now. And what I'm looking to invest in are still the same kinds of things. World-changing ideas and entrepreneurs with great determination and vision. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who have such passion for some one thing that they know needs to become improved, that they're going to do everything in their power to make that happen. And so that's what we do. And I've been doing it, and I have not. In fact, I probably accelerated a little while everybody else was frozen in their tracks in April.
Which you said, like, world-changing event, but also world-changing events, I think, is a huge thing. So like, COVID has changed our world. So what do you think that has disappeared from business or whatever, and is not returning back? Like, what do you see
that is now coming back?
Or that you don't think is
or that it's gone?
Yeah, that it's completely gone.
I just heard that one of my favorite places to go, it's called Good Stuff, and it was in New York City. It was wonderful little diner or restaurant. I just heard they went out of business, and a guy who drove me to the airport when I needed a limo. I saw him on the street, and so those were two things that I went, oh God, this is awful. This is really crushing a lot of people. And those are just the people that I had direct connection with, and I know, we lost 30 million jobs in the U.S., and we've gotten about 15 million of them back, but there's still 15 million left to go. So I'm looking and I'm saying, well, what can I fund that will get all those people back to work? Yeah. And what can I fund that can drive us, take us out? When you have a shock to the system like this, there is incredible creativity that comes out, and that usually opens up many new opportunities, and people get very innovative, and so that's good for us. And so we'll look and fund those companies where we think this is going to take us to this new place. Yeah. And I think that COVID has opened people's minds to new products. I mean, people do get stuck in their ways, and to get slapped and then go, okay, now I got to do something else, or I need to innovate right now. I think that that can actually be good for the world long term, but boy, short term, it is not good. And the lockdowns, I think, are misinformed. Yeah. I think that the masks make sense, but the lockdowns don't. Yeah. Well, to tie into that last point that you kind of made, the idea of kind of switching careers and moving in different directions. So if you weren't a generational investor, what direction do you think your career would have taken? Like, what is like your second passion, let's say? Gosh, my second passion, it's interesting. It's fairness, I guess. It's building fairness into systems, and my sense of fairness and your sense of fairness and Elena's sense of fairness all may be very different. And but building in a system, I mean, the Constitution created some great fairness. And I think, I guess I'd be working toward that. But I guess I'd also, there's something about building toward a really exciting and interesting future where you're exploring Mars and you're curing death and you're doing all these amazing things. I think I might be going after one of those. But I'll tell you the thing that I'm kind of the most excited about right now, and that is where Bitcoin created the blockchain and smart contracts. That has the potential to transform the biggest industries in the world, which could really change a lot. And one of the things that could change is the way we govern. The borders may mean less and less over time, and governments are going to have to be accountable to us. I mean, we're going to be able to choose the government that we want. I know people are leaving California and moving to Texas. HP just left, Schwab just left, because they're saying that's a better government for us. And so I think that the governments are going to wake up and go, oh, okay, well, we've got to compete, we've got to improve, instead of just kind of laying it down on you and saying, this is what you have to do, and these are the rules, and this is right. They'll start having to go, well, hey, we got to provide good service in order to attract those businesses and attract those people and attract those jobs. So I think I'd probably be going after Gov Tech right now. Gov Tech. Interesting, that intersection between those two. Yeah. I have a question about, so what advice did you get from your father, William Henry Draper, for those who don't know, the third, that you passed on to your children? The best advice was this. It doesn't matter. He said to me, I said, oh God, I got to sell these people. He said, it doesn't matter who's buying and who's selling. It's all about the personal connection. And that really helped me sell and feel better about it, and buy and feel more magnanimous about buying. When people buy and they're sort of, they feel like they're the king, and they're buying, that really dampens that great relationship you get with the buy and the sell. And when you think of it as a relationship, the negotiation ends up making both of you so much better off. You find out, well, you're looking for a car? Yeah. I mean, you were selling me, water, but you're looking for a car. Oh, I have an old car. That kind of thing happens if you build the relationship, and so I think that was the best advice. It went from his father to him, to me, to my kids.
And right down through the Draper line, to the lineage. Keep going.
I'll tell my grandkids everything.
The thing is, you could tweet it and your grandkids can go RT, and then they can pass that on generationally that way if they want. So let's ask some lighter questions, something about like you yourself, so we get to know you. So how do you get yourself out of a bad mood? Like, what do you do to kind of help fix that?
I try to go down to what's the root cause of the bad mood. And I found out I never drank coffee until I was about 50, and I realized that there's you don't get Parkinson's if you are a heavy coffee drinker or a smoker, and I'm not going to pick up smoking. So I tried some coffee because my mom and my grandfather both had Parkinson's. I don't have the gene, but I'm not taking any chances. So I drink coffee once every 2 weeks. I get very down about 2 days after I drink it, and so that to get me out of that, I go, why was this? And then I go, oh yeah, I drank coffee.
The coffee, get that root cause of it.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's just chemical. But if it's a bad mood that comes from something like I'm overwhelmed, which does happen to me quite a bit, I just go one thing at a time. Just get one thing done. It's like, just get it done. And then I always go to the hardest one first. Just get the hard one done. And then all of a sudden you kind of go, oh, hey, I got that hard one done. You start feeling a little better. I also do find that if I go for a run or a swim, I'm actually a swimmer, that I'll come back and my mood will be completely changed.
Oh yeah, honestly, nothing is better than just breaking things down to their smaller components and being able to check those off there, because the endorphins just get released right there, and you just your mood just gets to be able to pick up. I have a question about your viewing habits. What are you watching on Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever? Like, what is the show right now? I know you're a huge Marvel.
You know what's funny? I didn't watch much TV while I was building my business or whatever, raising my kids. We never watched the news. That was a rule. I said nobody watches the news in our house, and they can read whatever they want, but they can not watch the news. And then I got stuck in place, and we just started watching Game of Thrones, and I was just totally hooked. And then I watched the other one I watched was, and I'm a chess player. So the other one I watched was the Queen's Gambit, and those two they've taken up so much. Those two plus football have pretty much taken up all my TV time. The rest of the time it's just emails and Zoom calls and interviews and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then you switch it over to like chess and slaughtering of the.
Yeah. Yes. Same kind of thing, right? It's a chess game. Each one is sort of a chess game.
Yeah, which is funny because I was part of the chess club back in school, so it's I should actually watch that show. I should watch that show. I should get into it.
Oh, you will love it, and your chess will get a little bit better by watching it because you'll sit there. What I realized was I just learned chess playing with my dad and doing it on my own, but I should have been reading the books. I didn't read any chess. I've never read a chess book, but I'm actually really pretty highly rated.
Yeah.
But I never.
I think we should get a chess match going. I think that's what you're asking for. I think you want to throw down.
Time. That sounds absolutely great to me.
Yeah. I have a final question. This is from the audience. So, what's the best way to meet investors during COVID? Emails are no good. What replaces the social events where great people / investors like yourself gather?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I've noticed there are a few companies that are trying to create that social event touch point, where you break out and you do different things. We've actually done something interesting. We had to shut down the Draper University of Heroes hero training, and instead we did an online entrepreneurial basics of entrepreneurship or something. And we've done it so that those people we force 5 people to work together on Zoom and off Zoom. So they have to go do work and then come back together and do work, come back together. And it's a great way to get to know people. I think the people you do get to talk to, I think you need to get more out of. You need to go deeper with them. And that will help you at least understand how you'll get more out of that relationship. But the other thing is, I've noticed that people have really appreciated. I have set up Zoom calls with some relatively random people who I'm not always in touch with, and that has been really helpful, because you can have those conversations. It's really chat roulette just came 5 years too early.
Yeah, this would have been the time.
They kind of ruined the thing with all the
with all the weak
stuff.
The surprise guests, let's say.
But what we really need is sort of a chat roulette now. Like, get on the wheel and see who you're going to run into, because that's what these the conferences and trade shows and stuff were all about for me. And I went from, this is interesting, maybe. I went from where I went to 50 conferences in 2019, 50 different conferences in different places. And I've been to 2 this year, breaking COVID, I guess. But I've been to 2. And the 2 were actually really great, really fascinating, because I've been away for so long. But I have given about 300 presentations to conferences this year. So I've been able to reach maybe more people, but I haven't been able to touch with any of them. And you got to feel, you got to feel something with them before you kind of make a deal. But I think with a Zoom call you can get close. Yeah.
That is the kind of the situation that we are in, the cards that we are dealt. And that true connection of just being in that room with somebody and be able to wander, your mind wander at the same time, but still being in the presence of somebody, I think it actually has a great deal, because you kind of get to see people in the truest form. But Tim Draper, thank you so much for sitting down here and having this conversation with us. Just thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for doing this and agreeing to do
great. Hey, it was fun to be on your show, and great questions.
Oh.
And I like the personal touch. And Yelena, I would have liked more questions from you. Alan did an outstanding job. And, Yelena, I think you've got this spiritual thing about you, and I think that's a powerful thing. Anyway, thanks for having me on the show.